गुरु चरण सरोज रज निज मन मुकुर सुधारी। बरनउँ रघुबर बिमल जसु जो दायक फल चारि। बुद्धिहीन तनु जानिके सुमिरो पवन कुमार। बल बुद्धि विद्या देहु मोहि हरहु कलेश विकार। जय हनुमान ज्ञान गुण सागर जय कपीस तिहु लोक उजागर। रामदूत अतुलित बल धामा अंजनी पुत्र पवन सुत नामा। महावीर विक्रम बजरंगी कुमति निवारि सुमति के संगी। कंचन बरन बिराज सुबेसा कानन कुंडल कुंचित केशा। हाथ वज्र और ध्वजा बिराजे कांधे मूंज जनेऊ साजे। शंकर सुवन केसरी नंदन तेज प्रताप महाजगबंदन। विद्यावान गुणी अति चातुर राम काज करिबे को आतुर। प्रभु चरित्र सुनिबे को रसिया राम लखन सीता मन बसिया। सूक्ष्म रूप धरि सियहि दिखावा बिकट रूप धरि लंक जरावा। भीम रूप धरि असुर संहारे रामचंद्र के काज सवारे। लाए सजीवन लखन जियाए श्री रघुबीर हरषि उर लाए। रघुपति कीन्ही बहुत बड़ाई तुम मम प्रिय भरतहि सब भाई। सहस बदन तुमरो जस गावे अस कहि श्रीपति कंठ लगावे। सनकादिक ब्रह्मादि सा नारद सारद सहित अहिसा। जब कुबेर दिखपाल जहाते कभी कौबिद कहि सके कहते। तुम उपकार सुग्रीव ही कीना राम मिलाय राजपद दीना। तुम्हरो मंत्र विभीषण माना लंकेश्वर भय सब जग जाना। जुग सहस्त्र जो जन पर भानु लील्यो ताहि मधुर फल जानु। प्रभु मुद्रिका पहली मुख बाही जलधि लागी गए अचरज नाही। दुर्गम काज जगत के जेते सुगम अनुग्रह तुम्हरे तेते। राम दुआरे तुम रखवारे होत न क्या बिनु पैसारे। सब सुख लहे तुम्हारी शरण तुम रक्षक काहू को डरना। आपन तेज सवारो आपे तीनों लोक हाकते कापे। भूत पिशाच निकट नहीं आवे महावीर जब नाम सुनावे। नासे रोग हरे सब पीरा जपत निरंतर हनुमत बीरा। संकट ते हनुमान छुड़ावे मन क्रम वचन ध्यान जो लावे। सब पर राम तपस्वी राजा तिनके काज सकल तुम साजा। और मनोरथ जो कोई लावे सोई अमित जीवन फल पावे। चारों जुग पर ताप तुम्हारा है प्रसिद्ध जगत उजियारा। साधु संत के तुम रखवारे असुर निकटर राम दुलारे। अष्ट सिद्धि नव निधि के दाता अस्मर दीन जानकी माता। राम रसायन तुम्हरे पासा सदा रहो रघुपति के दासा। तुम्हरे भजन राम को पावे जन्म जन्म के दुख बिसरावे। अंत काल रघुबरपुर जाई जहाँ जन्म हरि भक्त कहाई। और देवता चित्त न धरहि हनुमत से ही सर्व सुख करहि, संकट कटे मिटे सब पीरा, जो सुमिरे हनुमत बलबीरा। जय 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 हनुमान गोसाई, कृपा करो गुरुदेव की नाई। जो सत बार पाठ करे कोई, छूटहि बंधि महा सुख होय। जो यह पढ़े हनुमान चालीसा, होय सिद्ध साकी गौरीसा। तुलसीदास सदा हरि चेरा, की जय नाथ हृदय बह डेरा। की जय नाथ हृदय बह डेरा। पवन तनय संकट हरन, मंगल मूरति रूप। राम लखन सीता सहित, हृदय बसो सुरभूप। सियावर रामचंद्र की जय, पवन सुत हनुमान की जय। उमापति महादेव की जय, बोलो रे भाई सब संतन की जय। Jai Shri Krishna, Jai Shri Ram. We have resumed the journey of Srimad Bhagwat Mahapuran. Last week we had started, and this is our second session after the summer break, right? And last week we listened to the story of Shukdev Ji and his guru, Maharaja Janak. And later we tried to understand the sequence of Srimad Bhagwat Mahapuran. None of our scriptures are a random compilation. Every stanza, every verse, every chapter, every skand, every book is like an upward progression or an inward transition. From the outer to the inner, from the lower to the higher, step by step by step. And they use a lot of stories. Should I call them stories? No. These are facts from history. If we consider them myths, they won't be achievable. We'll say, okay, these happen in books, they are not realistic. So this is not mythology. Consider this history. Yes, people like Maharaja Ambrish, people like Prahlad, children like Dhruv, people like the great sages Agastya walked the earth, and many are still there. And when somebody like them, somebody like a Ram or a Krishna, was able to achieve the ultimate bliss, why can't we? Tattva, the basic foundation, the basic elements are the same. If you take out a drop from the ocean, does the composition change? No. The ocean has the same composition of elements just like the drop, right? And you put the drop back into the ocean, it becomes one with the ocean. So the drop is but the ocean. The wave is but the ocean. There is no difference. Unless and until we believe that this is achievable, this is not a myth, it is a reality. People before me have done it. People today are walking on the path and are achieving ultimate bliss. Why can't I? Of course I can. And with that determination of putting everything into practical application, like putting it into our day-to-day activity, is the objective of scriptures. They are not. Most of the time we feel we'll just go to the mandir, we'll do our puja, or we'll go to the satsang, we'll listen and we'll come back, and we royally forget. And then we think that spiritual life and material life are two different elements. They are not. These scriptures, again, as a reminder, why am I saying this? Probably this is a reminder to myself also, that everything that I read, everything that is being narrated, everything that is written is achievable. हम कर सकते हैं. So last time we described the vidhi, right? There was a 4-step process. It was given by a great sage, He said, first, अध्ययन करिए, listen, read, sit under a guru, make the scriptures your guru, अध्ययन, study the scriptures. Then, Badan, after reading, you should constantly mull over the scriptures in the mind, whatever has been read. If it is just a simple stanza, which this is one of my favorites, which comes in the Ramayana, मैं अरुबोर तोरते माया, and it is said that the gist of the entire creation, the gist of Maya, the gist of liberation is in this. In fact, every verse, every word, if mulled over, can take us away, take us to the blissful end. But we have to ponder, we have to think. Badan. And then pravachan. Pravachan means charcha kariye. You do not have to sit in front of everybody and narrate. If you want to, that is blissful. Why not? But instead of talking about mundane things, start talking about what you are reading in the scriptures. What have you been thinking about? Charcha kariye. Make it as natural for you as possible. As we think, so we become. We talk about things only that which are in our mind, right? And then whatever we think, whatever we talk about comes into our action. And then acharan mein utariye. We have to put the knowledge of the scriptures in our daily activities. How did Ram talk? How did Ram walk? How would Ram react? So make him a reality. Make him your ideal. He is my ideal. So I should walk like him. I should talk like him. I should behave like him. I will forgive like him. I will remain stable like him. I would love like him. Just keep thinking. So after Adhyayana, the study of the scriptures, what do? We do pondering, Badan. And after that, Charcha, Pravachan, talk about him. Talk to people about him. And then the fourth will be, while you are doing this, slowly it will become a way of life. Your daily activities will reflect and always do reflect what you are reading, right? What you are thinking. So if we think Lord, we will become Lord. And then we talked about the flow. It was a very brief description as to what the scriptures are telling us. So we said the book 1 of Bhagwat, Srimad Bhagwat Mahapuran, is the Adhikari Skand. We talked about who's Adhikari, who's willing to accept. But one should also understand. Dogreji Maharaj puts it so beautifully. You can keep reading his explanation again and again and again. It is like, keep reading. You want to keep reading it till it becomes a part of your very existence. He says, अधिकारी तो वही हुआ ना जिसके पास भागवत पहुंच गई. If today you are listening to what is being said about Srimad Bhagwat Mahapuran from this asan, you are a adhikari. If the scriptures are coming to us and we are able to read them, we are adhikaris. There is a very famous saying, when the student is ready, the teacher appears. And if Bhagwat, Hari Naam, Hari Charcha, the name of the Lord is coming to our ears, then we are adhikaris. And we should feel blessed. Oh, God, scriptures, you thought we are adhikari to hear you? Not many get this opportunity. Feel blessed and thank God, be grateful. And the second, it is sadhana skand, right? We talked about sadhana, where we put a lot of practices in place. We put a lot of sadhana would be activities, spiritual activities to cleanse ourselves, right? That is sadhana. And there is a slight difference between sadhana and sadhana. You can overlap it, but you would not know when a sadhana becomes a sadhana. Sadhana is when you remain quiet so that peace comes to you. And sadhana is when effortlessly you want to be quiet because you do not want to talk about nonsensical things. The only things you want to come out of your mouth are good, pure, and divine. So, and when does sadhana start? When somebody guides us, right? A teacher comes. He says, देखो ऐसे करो. Don't do this, do that. Walk like this, talk like this, eat like this. For your destination, if it is God, this is the rule. This is what you need to follow. And it is true for anything. Effort is needed till it becomes effortless. If you are a runner, your coach will come and tell you, right? All these things are needed. He'll make you follow a rigorous chart, rigorous activity, rigorous routine. So is with scriptures. These are not feel-good things. This is a proper study of the self for self-realization. Can we take it liberally and say, ठीक है, आज सुन लिया तो सुन लिया, कल नहीं सुनेंगे, I got busy? No, we should do that. Then so when a teacher comes, the sadhana begins. The teacher could be in the gross form or in the subtle form. He could be in the human form or he could be in a scripture form. We have talked about the 24 gurus. He learned from everything he saw. The python, the river, the wind, everything can become a teacher for the one who aspires. Then there is Sarg and Visarg. Sarg and Visarg we thought about as creation, isn't it? Different types of creation, different types of species, different. And what is creation? When another way to look at it would be, if we are an adhikari, a guru has come to us, sadhana has been prescribed, a routine has been given, and when this knowledge is put into our day-to-day life, when it is created, when it is made into an activity we follow, when the words are put into action, it becomes the third and the fourth book where they are telling us how this kind of a thing is created. Then, stability. That is Tithi. When these things, when this kind of a acharan, a behavior of divine bliss is put into action, what happens? Automatically stability starts coming. A sthiti, we reach a sthiti of stability. We reach a certain kind of realization, a certain kind of situation, a certain kind of knowledge dawns. We are able to analyze where we stand. Are we calm? Are we composed? Are we stable? And slowly, even if we are not, the stability will come. That is the beauty of putting the knowledge of the scriptures in practice. And what feeds the sadhana? When we direct all our indriyas, all our senses towards the Lord. We are in a sthiti, right? We are stable, we are not stable. Sometimes we are calm, sometimes we are not. When we talk about portion, that is the 6th book, they say take food, take portion from the Lord. Take whatever you can from Lord. Don't look around for support. Sublimate, reach the higher. When in distress, look at the Lord. When happy, thank the Lord. Start connecting to the Lord and start deriving all your energies from Him. That is called true portion, true nourishment for the soul. And then when we go on to the 7th and the 8th book, right? When we talk about Uttis and Manvantars, we are talking about vices and different kind of vasanas. We all have different kinds of vasanas. We oscillate between being good and bad or being just moderate. Some vasanas are sadvasanas, some vasanas are asadvasanas, and some vasanas are mishra vasanas. Sometimes we are very good, sometimes we are very bad, sometimes we are a mixture of good and bad. Some are vices and some are deep rooted and they are vasanas. When they tell us in the seventh book, what are the different kind of vasanas and vices? In the 8th book, in Manvantars, they delve deeper. They say, when these kind of vasanas or vices are arising, what are the things you should think about? Think about the Lord when you are in trouble. When wealth is given and joy is given, again think about the Lord. In time of trouble, keep your words. Just because there is sadness, sorrow, and you have been deprived, don't deprive somebody else. Don't pass on the sorrow. Give whatever you have. Even at that point in time, keep giving joy. And at all times, surrender. At all times, surrender to the Lord. This is the way to overcome vices and vasanas. खुशी में भी प्रभु को याद करिए, दुख में भी प्रभु को याद करिए. जब खुद के पास नहीं हो तो भी देने की कोशिश करिए. Give even when you don't have. And at all times, be it sorrow or joy, just surrender. And tell Lord that all is happening as per your wish. And that is how vasanas can be extinguished. There are certain gross vasanas and certain subtle vasanas, right? And the gross vasanas or the vices which are superficial, they are easier to attack. But the deep-rooted vasanas, as we discussed, they are difficult to counter. And that is why currently the 9th book is Ishvaro Katha. We are talking about the Suryavanshis and the Chandravanshis. सूर्यवंशी कौन थे? राम जी. एंड चंद्रवंशी कौन थे? कृष्ण जी. So Suryavansh, Surya is buddhi, right? He's a buddhi pradata, buddhi data. Buddhi purifier, शुद्धिकरण करेंगे. And what is Chandra? Man, our heart. We have to be pure in our mind and we have to be pure in our heart. All the vasanas, all the doubts, everything has to go not only in our heart but in our buddhi. Not only in our buddhi and mind but our heart also. So now they are talking about Suryavanshis and Chandravanshis. They are talking about different kings who were able to overcome their vices. And they talk about Ram when they are talking about Suryavansh and his ancestors. And later, slowly, they will go to Krishna. We have to understand that Ramji is very easy to understand. Shri Krishna is not. When Ved Vyasji wrote the Mahabharata, he got very agonized after writing it because he felt that people did not understand the essence. They were taking away the wrong meaning from such a divine Granth. He was distressed. And then, to correct his error, he wrote Srimad Bhagwat Mahapuran. He told people that please don't take the Granths down to such a dubious level. They are pure. The interpretation has to be pure. Srimad Bhagwat Mahapuran is direct. It is telling you now, not through a story, but through direct words, what has to be done and what has to be left. It is not about convenience as to what we will take and what we won't. So he wrote Srimad Bhagwat Mahapuran with such a sequence. Again and again, I am repeating the sequence so that we keep in mind what we are reading and what we have to take from it. In the 9th book, we are going to get established in Sanyam and Sadachar, control and good conduct at all times, no matter what the situation. Just like Sri Ram. Vanvas, okay, no problem. You give me the kingdom, okay, no problem. Somebody is harmed, it's all right, I forgive. Somebody has been kind, thank you so much. No extreme behavior. Always calm and composed. And that is what we have to bring into our lives. Unless and until we implement what Ramji had done, we will not be able to understand Sri Krishna. Krishna Leela will start in the 10th skand. Nirodh. But unless and until we are able to get rid of all our vasanas and vices, or at least acknowledge them, will we be able to understand Sri Krishna? We won't. We have to follow Ramji, the way he lived, but we have to follow what Sri Krishna said. We cannot blindly follow what he did. He was able to lift the Govardhan Parvat. He was able to dance on the Kalya Nag. Can we do that? We can't. But then how can we say, Acha, Sri Krishna did this, so I can also do it? No. You can't. Then try dancing on the Kalya Nag. Try lifting the Parvat on your pinky finger. If you can't, then you cannot follow his acharan blindly. But over here, Ramji, he lived like us. He walked like us. He was a Manuj avatar, Manushya avatar, human avatar. Human. He told us exactly how we should live. And the day we are able to follow Sri Ram's way of life, we will be able to understand what Sri Krishna Leela is trying to tell us. And that is why Srimad Bhagwat Mahapuran, over here, Ved Vyasji, consciously devoted 9 skands to help us get to a mental frame to understand Sri Krishna. You know, Shukdevji went to Raja Janak and he was very doubtful, right? He was not sure whether a grihast, a householder, could become his guru. And then, later he was proved wrong, we understood. You know why the grihastis are doubted? Because we doubt our ability ourselves. Shukdevji over here, while he was narrating to Parikshit, Raja Parikshit, he suddenly thought to himself, I am talking about Prahlad, I am talking about Raja Ambrish, I am talking about Raja Janak, I am talking about Raja Ram, I am talking about so many kings. Prithu, all these kings. And I am a sannyasi, right? Nobody, not even Ved Vyas ji who has written, not even Agastya Muni, none of the Munis took this asana to liberate Parikshit. This asana was given to me. I took it. Yet I am talking about Raja Ambrish, who is living amidst all the opulences. He is a king. He has so much to do. He has so many other duties. Yet he is able to uphold his dharma. Who was Raja Ambrish? Raja Ambrish was the one who remained standing for a year and waited for Rishi Durvasa to come back. We have done this story in great depth. So Shukdevji said that then he must be a great king. He must be greater than I am, because sitting here, I am narrating about him. Now Shukdevji nowhere is talking about his acharan, right? He is talking about the acharan or the characteristics and way of life of various kings and princes who were householders. And why he thinks that they are superior? He thinks that they are superior because a sannyasi gets free from responsibility. But a grihasti, A householder has a lot of responsibilities. As a mother, you must be having so much to do, isn't it? You have to take care of your children, you have to take them to school, you have to educate them, you have to take care of the house, you have to take care of the food, you have to take care of your in-laws. So much of responsibility. Be it a man, he also has responsibility. Go to office, come back, take care of the children, think about the food, think about the fees. Parents have responsibilities, even children have responsibility. You have your schoolwork to do. You have exams coming up. There is a lot of peer pressure because you are in school. You are in sansar. A sannyasi has left sansar, right? Alag thalag jaake बैठ गए हैं. So what disturbs us does not reach them. Yet, a person who is able to be in sansar, who is able to be amidst all the hustle, bustle of this world, who is able to do all his duties, yet be connected to the Lord in his heart, is great, isn't it? When Raja Ambrish, being a king who had 1,001 responsibilities, could go and clean the mandir on his own, who could go and mop the floor of a temple, who could take care of all the fasting, can't we do it? Who could still revere the Lord amidst all the responsibilities and opulences. He was also a grihast. Most of the people we have talked about in Srimad Bhagwat Mahapuran are just like you and me. And this understanding and acceptance is important. If we want to excel on this path, if we want to realize the Lord, because unless and until we accept that this is possible for an ordinary person like you and me, who has 1,001 things to do other than chant the name of the Lord, nothing is going to happen. We'll keep making excuses. We are too busy. हमारे पास time नहीं है. Where is the time to think about the Lord? I don't even have time to breathe. पर सांस तो ले रहे हो ना? You are breathing, right? Just add Ram to every breath. Hari Naam to every breath. That is why they say, right? Banan, banan, banan. No matter what you are doing, read something about the Lord and keep mulling over it. While teaching your children, or for the children who are studying, while cooking, while being in the office, subconsciously in your heart, mull over Ram. Whenever you take a breath, say, Hey Ram. Whenever you're eating food, consciously remember and join your hands and thank the Lord. That is meditation. To remember Lord, no matter what you're doing. When in a situation, then think to yourself, how would my scriptures expect me to behave? That's it. Being in the Grihast ashram, upholding all the responsibilities, yet being connected to God is the real achievement. भाई छोड़ के जंगल में चले जाओ, बहुत अच्छा है. See, if that is your path, so be it. They are great. Shat naman to all the sadhus and sannyasis. But that does not make us any less. What is achievable for them is achievable for us, and that is what our scriptures have been shouting out loud. तुम कर सकते हो. अम्बरीश ने करा, तुम कर सकते हो. परीक्षित ने करा, तुम कर सकते हो. ध्रुव ने करा, अरे बच्चे तुम कर सकते हो. प्रहलाद ने करा, तुम कर सकते हो. Think. That is what they are telling us. No matter where you are, no matter in what situation you are, achieving that ultimate bliss is possible. ना जग छोड़ो ना हरि भूलो, ना जग छोड़ो ना हरि भूलो, करम कर जिंदगानी में, जियो दुनिया में यो जैसे कमल रहता है पानी में. कमल रहता है पानी में. And in the 9th book, they are trying to tell us, मन शुद्ध करो, हृदय शुद्ध करो, विचार शुद्ध करो. Make your mind pure and your heart pure. They could do it, so can you. Not much is needed. And Parikshit is listening. Shukdev ji is thinking, blessed is Parikshit. It took him a second to drop all his opulences, to drop all his relations, to drop all his vasanas and vilas, all his joys, all his possessions, and come and sit in front of me. Is Parikshit any lesser than I am? Thinks Shukdev ji. Dhanya, Dhanya Parikshit. Blessed, blessed Parikshit. These are grihastis. These are householders. They are no lesser than any sannyasi. What is achievable for me, says Shukdev, is achievable for you, Parikshit, or any other householder. The only thing is, we have to put our mind to it. And anything is possible. With this, let's move on. In the 9th book, we heard about Raja Amrish's story. And now, we are going to talk about the ancestors of Sri Ram. Ikshvaku, right? Ikshvaku was the son of Manu. Now, if we look at all our scriptures, we'll realize that each and every scripture mentions a lot of descendants, ancestors, names, family trees with such precision that they cannot be mythology. This is history. So when they started talking about Suryavansh, they said Ramji was a Suryavanshi. He is a descendant of Manu. Manu's son is Ikshvaku. And Ikshvaku had hundreds of sons. 100 sons, out of which 3 were the eldest. Vikukshi, Nimi and Dandaka. All great sages. And Ikshvaku once wanted to conduct a big yagna. He decided to conduct a big yagna. And he told his son, Vikukshi, to go and get Nived to offer to the yagna, to the fire. And he went to the jungle. He went in and he wanted to get the Nived. However, after finding the animal for sacrifice, he got so tired that he decided to have a bit of it. And after having a bit of it, he came back and offered the same Nived to the priest. Now Vashishji said, Are, this has been eaten already. How can it be offered to Lord? And while they heard this, he said, Ikshvaku said, Ki, this cannot be offered. How could you eat this? And because of this, you will be banished. You will be banished into the jungles for committing such a big sin. It took him a minute to discard his son and throw him into the jungles. Why? Because he had tasted the offering which was going to be given to the Devtas before it was being offered. Just imagine, just one mistake like this and he was banished. Was it a very big error? Come to think of it. How many times do we end up making this error? The things we cook in our kitchen, if offered to Lord, they become prasad. Why? Because when we make that nived, when we are making that bhog for the Lord, we are constant and very vigilant. We know that we are going to offer it to the Lord. And while we are making it, we are loveful, we are thoughtful of what is going in. We are 100% focused in our cooking. And then we don't miss out on anything. And just think, when you're not making nived and you're cooking, while you're cooking, suddenly there'll be a phone call, suddenly you'll run out, and then you'll think, Are, did I put salt or not? And then you'll taste it. But when we are cooking for the Lord, we know that we are not going to taste it. So we are so careful, and the food after we offer it to the Lord and we eat it, it is so amazingly delicious. Because our vibrations, our love, everything went in. And the food came out with a lot of reverence. And before that, if you eat, it is a punishable crime. That means you were not focused. And when you're not focused, what happens? When our brain is scattered, what happens? Disaster happens. And over here, Ikshvaku said that if you did not have that much self-control to not taste what was to be offered, what kind of a king will you make? You are my eldest son. I banish you. Go to the jungle. Do tapasya. Correct your error. Saying so, he was banished. Not forever. Wherever we make a mistake, we have to find a solution. We have to correct ourselves. And that is what our scriptures say. He was banished, and then later, Ikshvaku heard the katha of the Lord. He heard the tattva gyan, the truth, and his delusion went away, and he wanted to go, leave this body and depart. And when this happened, Vikukshi came back to rule the kingdom of his father. It was not a punishment. It was for the betterment of his child. And then when he came back, he started ruling very, very well. And the lineage that came after him was great. Because he had eaten the hare, he was known as Shashad. And his son was Puranjaya. So Ikshvaku's son Shashad and his son Puranjaya. Puranjaya was as valorous and as great as his father, Shashad, and Ikshvaku, his grandfather. We have heard Raja Dashrath also would go to the heavens to fight the battle for Indradev, right? And this was a trend. It seems it was very easy for them to just go from one lok to another. Swarg lok was not out of reach. In fact, Indra used to feel envious of all the kings who lived in Bhulok, or in our earth, thinking that, oh my God, look at that valor. And at any point in time, whenever Indra was in trouble, when the demons were attacking him, he would come down and seek help. And so it happened again when Indra really, really needed help and the demons were attacking him. He came down to Puranjaya and said, could you please help me, save my kingdom, save Amravati. The demons are attacking. So Puranjaya said, yes, I will, but I have a condition. And the condition is that you will become my Vahan. Indradev said, me, the king of Amravati, will become your Vahan? And Puranjaya said, if this is acceptable to you, only then will I come and fight the demons. Now, Indradev had no option. So he accepted the proposal. He accepted it, and Puranjaya went and was victorious. From that day on, he was also known as Kakutsaha or Indravaha. Indravaha, because Indra, in the form of a great bull, became the Vahan of Puranjaya. Such is the glorious history or the story of Sri Ram's ancestors. Of course, then in this lineage, a Ram will be born, one more valorous than the other. Ikshvaku, just because Vikukshi ate a bit from what was going to be offered to the Lord, was banished to rectify. The minute we see a flaw, we should not nurture it. There and then, we should work on correcting it. It is okay to make errors. However, if we dwell on them, if we don't work on them, if we don't correct them, then they grow bigger and bigger and bigger. But the minute we face something, or the minute a negative thought comes, and immediately we redirect it or correct it, that's okay. So we should not hold ourselves guilty if we have made an error. This story is also telling us one very important thing. Every successful, every person, every great person, be it spiritual person, divine person, might have a past. In fact, everybody has a past. And the one who has a past does not mean that if you have a past which is not that glorious, you cannot have a glorious future. If there is a sinful past, it does not guarantee that you cannot have a pure future. Past, chhod do. The day the realization comes that this is an error, this will not happen again, finish. That error has been corrected half already. And work towards making a better you, a better me. खत्म हो गई ना बात. गलती तो सबसे होती है, किससे नहीं होती. We cannot hold ourselves guilty of doing something when we did not have the knowledge. But if we don't correct ourselves when we have the knowledge, then we should hold ourselves accountable. So he was banished by Ikshvaku. After that, he came back and took the throne and became a divine king, the ruler who gave birth to a son called Puranjaya, who was able to go to the heavens and fight for Indra. Not only this, Indra became his Vahan. This is again telling us that make Indra your vehicle. What is Indra? Indra is our Indriyas. Have them under control. Our senses wander. Our senses go to various places. We do not want to give any trouble to our body and our senses, isn't it? जब भूख लग रही है खा लो, जो मन कर रहा है कर लो. There is no discipline in our life left. And when there is no discipline, the downfall is going to happen in any path. It is not only the spiritual path where discipline is needed. You are doing a PhD, you are doing your 8th grade exams, or you are a mother. Discipline is needed, right? And this is what he's saying. He had controlled Indra. Indra became his Vahan. See, we have these senses. We have these senses. We have this body. We have this mind. It is up to us how we use it. We can use it to revel in the world, or we can use it to reach the divine self, to reach God. We can use it for good, we can use it for bad. It is up to us. Indriyas is for us. We can make it a vehicle and we can decide where we go with it. And that is what Puranjaya taught us. And such was the lineage. In fact, it is impossible to mention all the ancestors and their deeds. It is so, that's why Srimad Bhagwat has selected a few. And it mentions one ancestor after another. And there was one ancestor known as Dhundhumara. Again, Dhundhumara, along with 21,000 sons, under the guidance of a sage, went and destroyed the demon Dhundu for Indra. So this was almost Puranjaya, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, around 6, 7 generations after Puranjaya, still the ability to kill a demon for the Devas was there. This is Suryavansh, the ancestors of Sri Ram. So one generation after another generation, maintaining the decorum, maintaining the culture, maintaining the stability, bettering oneself. We are a subtotal of our ancestors. We have the power to liberate almost 21 to 31 generations before and 21 to 31 generations after. What I do today impacts those who have gone and impacts those who are going to come. If we tell ourselves that we have accountability of 21 to 30 generations before and 21 to 30 generations after, won't we be more cautious in our actions? Think. And so on and so forth. They go on mentioning one divine sage after another divine sage. Why am I calling them sages? Because in spite of being kings, in spite of ruling, in spite of reveling in the opulences and living there, they were still divinely connected to the Lord. They were no different from any sage. Most of our scriptures are filled with people who took up the responsibility of the Grihastha ashram, because in our scriptures mostly there is a step-by-step transition from the Brahmachari ashram to the Grihastha ashram, from the Grihastha ashram to the Vanaprastha ashram, from the Vanaprastha ashram to the Sannyas ashram. There are certain sages whose path is different, but for most of us this is the 4 steps. But the problem is, neither do we live our Brahmachari ashram like a Brahmachari. The Grihastha ashram, we don't take responsibility of anybody other than ourselves. And Vanaprastha ashram, we never want to reach. Sannyas to bahut dur ki baat ho jati hai. So yes, if you're that kind of a Grihasthi, you're not comparable to a sage. I'm sorry. But if one is a Grihasthi as mentioned in the scriptures, that one can be more divine than any sage, any sannyasi, any tapasvi. And so forth. All the sages and their valor, all the great kings and their valor has been mentioned till they reach a king called Mandhata. Mandhata has 3 sons and 50 princes, 50 daughters. Now his 50 daughters have almost reached a marriageable age. And when they reach a marriageable age, the father gets worried, right? Of any daughter, he would want a fair, nice suitor for his daughters. And Mandhata here also started thinking about that. At the same time, there was a sage called There was a great sage who was doing tapasya, and his name was Saubhari. Saubhari was a great tapasvi. From years and birds and birds and birds, he was doing tapasya, and he got a lot of siddhis, a lot of nidhis. He was divine and he was doing his tapasya on earth, when he realized that because of his siddhi and nidhi, there was constant disturbance towards him. Constantly people would come and disturb him. So he decided to take his tapasya under the river. He decided to go under the Yamuna river and carry on with his tapasya. Because he did not want to be disturbed, because he did not want to be connected to the world, he left everything and went down to the Yamuna river to continue his tapasya. But what happened? While in tapasya, he came in association. He was in the company of fish. Of course, in the ocean below, machli to hogi na. And while in the company of the fish, he started looking at them, their life as householders, how they used to take care of each other, husband-wife relationships, and he was like, oh my God, what am I doing? I am alone. I also want to enter samsar. I want to have a family. I want to have a wife. And thinking like this, he broke open his samadhi and he went up. He went to earth and he went to Mandhata. And he said, you have 50 daughters. I want to marry one of them. Now Mandhata looked at him. Saubhari was all wrinkled, aged, grey hair, unkempt, feeble, because of, he was how many births old, not only years, births old. And he wondered whether my daughters will be happy with this kind of a sage. So what he told him was, tomorrow is the Swayambhar, where my daughters are going to choose their rightful husband. So you come tomorrow, and if they feel you are fit to be their husband, if they choose you, I'll be okay. And when he heard this, he realized that indirectly, Mandata is not happy that Saubhari has asked for his daughter's hand. But he had Siddhi, he had Nidhi, he could do anything. Just like our Hanumanji, become big, become small, change his appearance. So he changed his appearance to become nice, handsome, and young. And when he came, he was glowing because of sadhana. He was glowing because of his nidhi and siddhi. He had changed his appearance to look young again. He became young again. And all the 50 daughters started fighting amongst each other to marry him. So in the end, what happened was all the 50 daughters married this sage. And again, what happened? He started living a beautiful life. Because of his siddhis, he created palaces, he created chariots, he created servants, he created lakes, he created his creation. Mandhata was the king of the universe. However, when he visited Saubhari, his Jawai, he would feel embarrassed of his own possessions because it was nothing in front of what the sage possessed. Because of his siddhi, because of his nidhi, he could make anything, and it was opulences better than Amravati. Indra also would wonder, ki my God, Amravati is nothing in front of what Saubhari has made for his wives. And years went by in this enjoyment. And his enjoyment, the desire for enjoyment, the desire for these things, desire for all these things never ended. Now tell me one thing. If we put oil in fire, what will happen? It will blaze, right? It will blaze bigger. The flame will become bigger. So if you keep thinking that if I fulfill one desire after another desire, and then I will stop, will it ever happen? No, because you are putting oil in the fire. And every time you put oil in the fire, it becomes bigger. So it is wrong for us to feel that once I've accomplished everything in life, then I'll take Harinam. Abhi to bahut kaam karna hai. Abhi I want to become this, I want to become whatever you want to become. Desires will never end. So if desires will never end, what is the right time to start Hari Charcha, Hari Kirtan? Right now. Because when we hold the hand of Hari, all our worries, all our desires automatically disappear. If we wait for the desires to get over to reach the Lord, that will never happen. Because it will go bigger and bigger. Our wants will increase. So Saubhari got so carried away in this world, he totally forgot that he was a Siddha Purush. He was a sage who had invested births after births to reach where he had reached. And one day, while sitting, he told himself, oh my God, what have I done? What have I done? I gave up everything. I had so much of siddhis. I had almost reached the Lord. What have I done? I threw away everything? For this? For pleasures? Mere pleasures? And he thought to himself, what a waste. What a waste. How could I have been carried away like this? The realization came to him. And when the awakening came to him again, he thought to himself, this must be Lord's Maya. Because while he was on earth, he started thinking to himself that I have conquered it all. I am beyond temptations. I am the greatest sage. And with this thought, he said, why? I don't want to be disturbed by these horrible worldly people. I will go into the Yamuna river and continue my tapasya. I am divine. I should not be with them. This overconfidence crept in. This ego crept in. And God did not want the greatest tapasvi to have this ego. So God said, okay, you think you have accomplished everything and now you have come to the ocean. Even the company of a mere fish can actually divert your tapasya. destroy your tapasya. Never let ego come in, because once ego comes in, it creates a hole. And once the hole is created, khatam ho gaya fir to sab kuch. That is why overconfidence galat hai. And not only this, Sobhari, just by the company of the fish and watching what they were doing, got influenced. We have to be very vigilant of the type of company we keep. We cannot let our guard down. Whom do we talk to? Whom do we look at? Whom do we sit with? Whom do we interact with? Because those people are going to influence us. If we are in the company of the people who love God, who are pure, we are going to become pure. If we are in the company of the worldly people, we are going to become worldly. If we are in the company of greedy, we will become greedy. Such is the nature. If Sobhari, by the mere company of the fish, forgot all his tapasya, who are we then? Be very vigilant of the company we keep. Such divine knowledge. While they are starting, they are telling us, be vigilant. Whom do you talk to? What do you think about? What do you eat? Where do you go? Whom do you sit with? Company matters. संगति बहुत जरूरी है. सत्संगति बहुत जरूरी है. And ye, we have to think. Sit down and make note. We are in the company of our thoughts. We are in the company of food. We are in the company of movies and books. We are in the company of friends. Are we in the right company? If not, then it is for us to decide what has to be done. And Sobhari left everything immediately. His 50 wives followed him. Not only did he liberate himself again, but he liberated his wives also. Just because they were in the company of the sage, they also got liberated. Such is the power of company, and such can be the blunder of long company. Sobhari tells us. With this in mind, we are going to close the session today and continue again tomorrow, next week. Shri Krishna Govinda Hare Murari, He Nath Narayan Vasudeva. Shri Krishna Govinda Hare Murari, He Nath Narayan Vasudeva. Shri Krishna Govinda Hare Murari, He Nath Narayan Vasudeva. He Nath Narayan Vasudeva. He Nath Narayan Vasudeva. Om Namo Bhagwate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagwate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagwate Vasudevaya. 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 Ram Lakshman Janaki, Jai Bolo Hanuman ki. Ram Lakshman Janaki, Jai Bolo Hanuman ki. Ram Lakshman Janaki, Jai Bolo Hanuman ki. Bolo Bajrang Bali ki Jai. Jai Shri Ram, Jai Shri Krishna, Jai Hanuman, Jai Hanuman, Jai Hanuman.